Wonder if this is working. Is this working? I think it's working. So good day, folks. Just testing my new setup here. Just doing some cleanup, and thought I'd go live here. So I got a new computer. I don't know if this is working here. What I'm doing here is I got a laptop so I can socialize better here in the chat room, because it's difficult to do everything, from the one sourcing the stream. So I got two systems, believe it or not, set up in here right now. So I'm just testing that, and I don't know if the audio is right. Here I'm talking, I can see my audio on the screen here. Check, check, 1, 2. Am I on the right mic here? I'll see if I can hear myself. This is all new to me too, so I should hear myself on the Mac here. Yeah, I'm hearing it. Okay, that's good. Pretty low though. That sucks. All right, it is what it is. Built-in webcam feature. My mic is jacked all the way up in the audio settings, so I guess that just means I gotta speak louder. Hopefully I won't disturb the neighbors speaking louder, but whatever. So at least it works. I got this working. I can see that it works. And people are saying hello, so I hope everything is doing well. So yeah, as I was saying in the description, I've had really better days. I'm in the kind of like in a bad place right now. Oh, sometimes life, right? I mean, it's with the company, and nothing bad for me personally. It's just sometimes there's drama, like in any place, right? And essentially, what was going on is that they all went into a big panic a few days ago because, as you're all aware, all this information, mostly the Tom Bearden and the Bedini, a lot of it is all public domain, known, just not talked about as much, right? So myself and others have been refining it, I'd say me, myself, maybe 20 years, and others maybe more than that. We had the Bedini people before me and all that, right? And then Don Smith and everyone else. And we post whatever we can, but you understand, I can't, things change a lot for me because I can't read the future, right? So when I was just a teenager, experimenting with this stuff, and then growing up, and then being 20, 21, 22 years old, and then you start posting on forums like Yahoo groups and things like that, right? When it all and news groups, right? Remember when that was a thing, the news group, Al Energy group, and things like that. And if you're interested in something, right, and you have a hobby, it's just natural, you want to talk about it, you want to elaborate on it, you want to meet others who share a similar interest, right? So even up to like maybe, see, the company seems like it's been so long, but it's only been a little bit more than half a year that I'm with them. So up to like a year and a half ago, I'm doing all this, and when I make a discovery or something that I find interesting, hey everyone, there it is. Here's how you do it, right? So on the public domain front, that's great. That's elaboration. That's innovation. That's being creative. Doesn't hurt me because this is not a profession. It's just a hobby, right? But now things change with the business. It became my profession. My old, essentially, I took a risk by stepping away from disability and taking a job like everybody else in the real world. So literally, I've been on my own for over 6 months supporting myself. So this, which started off as a hobby, I don't know if you see what I'm getting at, folks, but is now what is giving me the bread and butter on my table. So that changes the dynamics of things a little bit, which means that if someone goes back like 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, finds something out, and this is where I'm getting at, something happened a few days ago where we discovered that somebody, I'll be nice here and civilize in the wording, borrowed some of my concepts, publications, refined Maxwell formulas that I've shared, not just my own, but others in the open public, that we were all sharing. And essentially, like it doesn't really matter in a way because there's like so many ways to get at it. There's so many domains to explore. One person can't do it all, right? But it's when they actually like literally take your graphs and your charts and your formulas and they cut and paste it and they don't give you recognition for it. That's when it starts getting really like, you start feeling like a Jack A. You know what I'm trying to say with the whole hee-haw and everything at the end of the day. And there are people like that. There are trolls everywhere. There are moles everywhere. And this is just what's going to happen. But now it means more because, like I said, my future, my money depends on it. And like anyone else, I have to live. I have to put food on my table. So if this is backstabbing me in the back and indirectly my company, they were all freaking out, a few days ago when they were reading through this. One long story short, so some group of people got IP rights, a patent on part of the process, not the whole thing, but part of it, and used some of our work and others. And went as far as actually, which is really weird, I don't understand, folks, how this patent got approved in USA and all things. But went as far as to list in prior art, which is what you have to do in patents, people's YouTube playlists. I'm not kidding. In alternative energy, YouTube playlists and YouTube members. Here's prior art. Here's my patent. Here's all the previous work. Ta-da. So that really pissed off my company. Nothing that I did personally wrong, but the whole circumstantial brewing of how this came to play. So they freaked out as far as saying, oh my God, Joel, you got to disconnect yourself. You have to delete all your social media accounts. Just the one thing I always feared, right? So we had a big meeting the other day, and I said, it's impossible to erase like 20 years of, especially that 99.9% of it is already public domain, right? It's already out there. Somebody else can go and quote Tom Bearden and read his books and come up with the same nonlinear dynamics, right? But doesn't mean you have to make it easy for them and give it all on a silver platter for them to just rip you off, right? That's essentially where. Understandingly, on the commercial aspect of things, right? And I don't blame them, but I told them just because of the dynamics of technology, that's like literally just, wiping out my YouTube would do very little when you got people like Rex Research, archiving everything on their sites and saving it offline just for in case something like this corporately or government or whatever would happen, right? And it's all archived out there, so forget it, the internet. But what I have to do now is be, unfortunately, more conservative moving forward, which means potentially not talk so much even if it's public domain until we have our stuff out. Not talk about anything that we're actually pursuing. So, I always felt proud. Oh, look at this. So it hurts me to have to take a step back that way publicly anyways. I was going to make a public announcement, but it's not worth the whole draw. Instead, I'm just going to tone it down, I think. And I talk about, obviously, I can't undo what's already out there. So I'm not saying I'm going to delete my form and this and that. And I can still answer questions, right, to what's already out there. But I think it's going to be enough of, oh, look, I found this new thing with this capacitor connecting this like that. I'm going to have to hold on that kind of stuff for a little while anyways. Not infinity, just while we get our things in order and get all the IP right so this doesn't happen again, right? So again, which is nice in a way, it doesn't affect what we're pursuing globally, but it gave us a hell of a reality check. So there is direct competition commercially in this, and people are watching me and others. And unfortunately, you're going to find a little bit of this in every domain you go in. So again, we all learn. So again, nothing directly I did wrong, just a whole circumstantial circumstance. So yeah, that's the crunch of my last few days, which have been really tough, really, especially when you see this person bragging about how they're so brilliant and they're a genius and they have all these publications all of a sudden, but quoting all stuff from YouTube from the last 2 years from myself and everyone else. So it's insulting and it's a slap in the A. But again, on the other side of the coin, much of it is open source public domain. But again, you don't have, this would be the equivalent of universities plagiarizing somebody else's work. Even it's already known public domain, you don't transfer it word to word, take their actual charts, plaster it all over, and actually put their links as a reference and say, this is it, but this is mine because I filled the patent, right? So very sleazy ways that some people are willing to go down a path. And honestly, I'm surprised the patent office fell for it, because we were preparing ourselves to be much more conservative in the presentation of the information. But needless to say, it's over, that's done. It has been noted, and modifications will be done moving forward as a result. But nothing I can, it's nothing personal towards anyone who's been following me, but you got that crowd of bad people that ruin it for everyone, literally. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm just going to read some comments here because I've just been venting without actually reading the comments here. So just give me a moment. That's why I actually got the laptop here. So I'm just going to read. Hello, everyone. How's your company going? I got into that. Hello, Joel. Yes, that's good. It's the holidays. All right. More Canadians. That's awesome. I know most of you. Cool. Yeah, being a creative, new content is a double-edged sword for sure. You want to help the community, and on the other side, you got 10 that's ready to backstab you with it and take full credit for all the work, And like I said, now it's different because this is my bread and butter, literally. So if someone backstabs me like that, they're potentially, literally harming me. So using my own, essentially, using my own content against me. And then they're the first ones to go on all of the forums, like over Unity forums, research, and troll my old post. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's all full of it. He doesn't understand terms. Meanwhile, they're copying, pasting everything and posting and patenting it under their names. This is the infuriating part of it, and this is exactly what happened this time. It's like literally trolls that went out and made fun of us, turned around, used the information for themselves without giving us any credit, but putting us down publicly for putting out the information for everyone else. It's like a double backstab. It's like, so at the end of the day, people like me is like, why are we trying to help the people again? Why are we doing this? There's one thing about it being a hobby and being passionate and everything, but you can't be a retard with it either if it's going to harm you financially, And I hope you understand, it's not personal to not get mad at me because, oh, geez, he's hiding it all now, just like all the others. No, I need to eat. I need to pay rent. If someone's going to threaten that basic necessity from me, I'm going to have to react like any of you would, right? So yeah, it really put me in a tight spot. But after thinking it through, like I said, it just means shut up about the new innovations for now, even if it's founded on already existing information. But, I still want to talk generically about the things here and there, especially if it's already been posted. Can't undo that now. And I'm actually thinking, what's really cool is on Rumble, you're allowed to have multiple channels, so you can have like your cat's channel and everyone follows your cat stuff. And then you can have I love dogs set, but it's the same user, right? So when you're posting on I love dogs, you're not sickening the I love cats crowds, and it's all on the same. YouTube doesn't allow you to do that. So because what's really fun is that most people on here on the internet know me for the alternate energy stuff, but I have a wide array of interests in all of the sciences, mostly sciences. And I don't know if this is a gift or what, but whatever it is that I'm into, it's very much like the alt energy stuff. I get into it and I end up knowing more than the professionals do. And then I find my own ways of dealing with that domain, and I end up finding new and interesting things, as exciting as it is on how I'm like another level with the alt energy stuff. I get like that with like ham radio antennas based on pointing vector theory instead of regular ham radio. A quarter of the size, but it works better than the full size. Classical engineering can't figure it out, but it's all related, right? Or chemical reactions. I have a whole booklet of research for the last 10 years on trying to get an eternal flame reaction going. I have all the foundation and everything. I'm sure that would interest people, but it's not directly related to what I do in the alt energy. So there's a lot of stuff that I don't talk about. And even in the arts, I like doing stuff like stereograms, magic eye images, and things like that. Start posting that on here, people are going to be like, what does this have to do with free energy, right? And then you start losing your crowd. So I'm thinking about it, maybe opening up another YouTube account for that and just posting everything else that I'm good at. And once in a while, on here, when I go live and whatever, throw the link around. Those who know me, who follow me, if you want to see the other side of me, here's this channel here, which we discuss everything else, all my other projects, all my other crazy science, and can get more into the speculative and hypothetical scenarios when I'm not trying to convince someone about over unity with something. But there's so much stuff out there that I'm into, and I'm sure people would be able to benefit from like the shortcuts and other tricks that I found along the way within those very tight, refined domains that I'm into. So thinking about it, maybe in the next few days, I don't know of a name. It's funny. Everyone has the podcast. Their personas. That's the thing, right? And I don't know if you've noticed it, but everyone the trend, they use their name, right? And then they'll say like, Frederick Saves the World podcast, or Frank Williams Saves America podcast. I don't know if you noticed that, but everyone has that. This is my name and I'm saving blah, blah, blah podcast. They all follow that same, this is my name and this is whatever I save podcast. So just because of my personality, because I like to be a little different from everyone else, I think I'm going to call mine Joel Can't Save the World. Isn't it perfect? Joel Can't Save the World. So if you want to follow me, that's probably going to be the channel name. Pretty clever, right? Because it's the opposite. It's a twist. The Game Awards, everyone says, blah, blah saves. So I'm going to be like, no, Joel can't save the world. Which is true. Person like me at this point, we're so far gone. I can't save it. But if you want to ride along with me, you can, and we'll do what we can, right? So I think that's clever, fun, cute in a way, not harmful, won't offend anyone. Stands out because everyone's using, blah, 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 saves the world podcast. Kind of hard to stand out when all of a sudden you got Joel Saves the World podcast. What's different with this one, right? But when all of a sudden you give them a twist, Joel can't save the world podcast. There's a new one. I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those nights. Oh well. Just gonna read the comments here. home improvement and other small hobbies. Yeah, that's awesome. I want to do that too, but I don't want to like, piss off my crowd, which is all because I focus my channel all on alternate energy. So it kind of like locks me in on just that. But now that I have a nice following, like what I'm doing now, I can start plugging in, here's my other YouTube for everything else, woodworking, whatever that I'm into, right? If you like me and this stuff about energy, maybe you'll find my other topics useful too. So maybe there's a way of doing it because being in the north and everything, I miss that interaction, that socialization, especially when you're locked in your home for 2 weeks in a row because you've got a blizzard and you've got really nowhere to go. It's a nice outlet to have, and the technology is there for it, which allows us to broadcast ourselves to the world. So I may as well take advantage of it, right? But again, being a little smarter and taking a step back from every little new innovation I come up with every week. I'm sure I've played my part by now. I've done so much. It's all out there. Publications, Maxwell, Apart from being ripped off on a personal level, it's all there for everyone to use and help. Which is a lot more than some of the pros with millions of followers in the same, which is all monetization, can say for themselves. So I'm proud of that, at least, it's all out there. And I played my part. I really believe I do. And now I think people understand that since this has become my work, I got to do what I got to do to protect myself too, right? But doesn't mean I have to disappear. I don't want to disappear, I mean, what's the point of living on this earth if you have to hide yourself? This coffee's keeping me going here. Warmness. Liquid warm. They can love it or leave it. Yeah, but the world today, they're so judgmental, right? They like typecast you as something, and then they don't want anything else. So I've been in the forums for a long time. Joel Legacy. Oh, he's the out energy nut. It's hard to tell people. Oh, he does art stuff. He does stereograms. He does. Oh my goodness, I'd like to get into like advanced electronics, encoding secret information in Morse code at high speed. Stuff that literally no one does, even in the ham radio field, that I literally know how to do, that I've done before. But who talks about encoding high-speed data in Morse code? Who even thought you could even do that? I did. Maybe someone would like to know about that, but not so much in the out energy group, right? But yeah, there's so much stuff that I've learned just on my own, and I'm sure would probably make it on Hackaday or something. Completely unrelated to energy, just sciences and electronics and innovation. I really like data transfer techniques and protocols. I experiment a lot with GNU radio on Linux. I've got all these SDR transceivers that I experiment with, trying to make my own version of Wi-Fi. Another thing I'm working on, Wi-Fi over halogen lamps. You modulate the halogen lamp and you use a photodiode because they have a very high megahertz sensitivity. So you could actually, I don't know if you can see where I'm getting with that, but with it's non-laser, and with a 100-watt halogen and a green filter and lenses, you can get about 13 kilometers at night and anywhere from half a kilometer to 0.8 of a kilometer in broad daylight. Of high-speed data transfer from point A to point B using halogen lamps. So I think that's awesome. Nobody's ever talked about doing that. They talk about lasers, really slow speed, more. That's all been done over optical. No secret there. But I'm talking about like Wi-Fi and streaming video, doing internet with a halogen lamp 13 kilometers away. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, there might even be a military application there. But no one ever talks about that. I did an experiment, and I'm so like, I demonstrated something like that in high school physics. In my grade 11 physics, it was part of an exam. The teacher actually failed me. I got 40% on it because he didn't understand what I was actually demonstrating. And he turned around, I'll never forget that. He said, "I'm sorry, but I can't pass you because you have a pretty face. In university, you're actually going to have to understand this stuff. And if I pass you and you go to a university and you don't know what the hell they're saying, it's not going to be good for you or good for our reputation for having sent you there. I hope you understand that it's not personal." He actually gave me that pep talk after everyone left because I was wondering why I got 40% on my physics project. And that's what I demonstrated, modulation of information through light. Didn't get it. The students didn't get it. So therefore, I was dumb. I didn't get it. But yeah, you know, that's the old saying, right? If you can't make it, teach it. Still see that dumb A around town. One of these days, I'm just going to give him the finger. I make more money than he does now doing the thing he says. Doing the thing, ironically, he says that was impossible. I'm getting paid for now, doing like double his salary. How's that for a kick in the? Yeah, just how things go sometimes, right? But you can't help them. The people were stuck in the traditional. This is how we were taught science, and you know, especially in a teacher high school setting, little power trips, right? And that's what happened. Don't give too much away. Yeah, I know, right? I'm just trying to explain that there's so much fascination outside of the realm of energy, but using similar concepts to do other goals, right? It's fantastic, really. And all things that I'm super excited about in my own ways to progress and innovate. And like I said, a lot of this stuff would actually make Hackaday front page. Yeah. So that's where we're at. Um, the big explanation. So today here, yeah, just taking a deep breath. And I was going to do something here, clean things up today when I was going live, and I just went on this big rant instead here. I'm sorry about that, by the way. Uh, Here, winter is really, I don't know how it is where you all are, but right now it's about minus 25 Celsius. We had snow squall warnings all day. Sick of it because it basically, winter here, I know we're in the north and everything, but because of this anomaly with what they call the polar vortex weakening effect, um, what happened is it pushed the cold air like a month early. So we got winter a month earlier. You know, like I've had, this is not every year, but I've had photos even on my Facebook during Christmas where we're out there doing, you know, little campfires and people are sitting by the fire and you can see the green grass, and this is on Christmas Eve. Meanwhile, this year, minus 25, and you know, I've posted pictures already on my YouTube where a blizzard from a week ago, the snow was accumulated all the way to the top of the roof of my apartments. Half of the people were snowed in, their doors way over to the roof. They had to shovel the tunnel out. It's crazy. And you know, it's not even winter yet. December is just starting, and we've had this for a month now. Snow banks as high as the buildings. I really don't know where they're going to put it this year. I honestly don't, because it doesn't get warm here until March, the end of March. That's going to be a lot of snow. You're in Miami. Oh boy, you're so lucky. Miami. Ah. I'm just reading the comments here, man. So don't mind me. So yeah, ice cube weather. Yeah, that's what it is. Ice cube weather. It's a bit of a hit and miss around here, but this year happened to be a big hit. Ah, Fufi. Ow. Sorry, my dog just jumped on my camera stand. Hey. She doesn't know better. Ah. So what was I going to do here? I was going to clean things up a little bit here and go through. I found this box, which is, I think, I'm going to call it the box of failed projects. Doesn't everyone have one of those? Fufi, you got to get off of there. I'm sorry about the bouncing. That's my dog all of a sudden wanting attention. Hey, what's the matter with you? I'm live. Don't you know that? Don't you know that? You're going to steal the show, you. You're going to steal the show. Yes, you're going to steal the show. You know, this is my time. Oh, and you ate a big bowl. Don't give me that look. Oh my goodness. Are we done? Are we done pretending that we are neglected? Are we done pretending that we are so in need? You're gonna behave. You're gonna stop bouncing around. Because you're pulling on my camera cords. They're gonna think you're a cat. Here I am talking to a dog. That's to show you how long I've been stuck inside here. Okay, Fufi, be good. Yeah, thanks about the lovely doggy. Yeah, for sure. I say that all the time. It's a good thing she's cute. What is it? Get a dog, they told me, it'll be company. Get a dog, they told me, it'll be sweet. Get a dog, they told me, it'll sleep with you. They didn't tell me all that other stuff. Oh, when it's young, it'll destroy everything you love. Oh, it'll poo and pee everywhere. Oh, it barks at everything that doesn't move. No one told me about any of that. I found that all out later. So that's why I say it's a good thing she's cute. Yeah, you. So where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about the box of failed experiments. Right here. So much stuff in here, I don't even remember what's inside of this thing. I'm gonna go through it, maybe get some inspirations. Oh my goodness. Now this is interesting. Here we have a PCB. We don't see that well, but stereo FM transmitter. 100 megahertz. You know, the old school send your Walkman to your radio kind of thing. Took them apart, right? Because they make nice high frequency oscillators. Not very powerful, but if you need, that was my logic, I guess, a source of high frequency. megahertz level frequency. This is a good way of doing it. But you know, with only like 1 or 2 milliamps, milliwatts of output, probably less than that because this is FCC part 15. So more like 18 nanowatts of output. They usually put a resistor right you can usually hack these things because there's a resistor right after the transistor where the RF out is. And you bypass the resistor and you get the full 100, because they're just using, it looks like just this regular 2N2222As, which is, yeah, very standard. So the thing is, all you have to do is, see, they run these with a two 1.5 volt batteries, so they underpower it. So this could easily go 12 volts. Just make sure the bias resistor can handle it, which I'm pretty sure it can on this board. And take out the resistor that attenuates the output. That's the legal BS to stay within regulations when they sell this stuff to consumers, because even the smallest transistor will blow the limit. It's that ridiculous, right? Especially on the FM band, it's a matter of feet. Anything more, you need a license. So they're very strict on the leakage of such RF transmitters, but you can stop the actual design, right? So you just have to bypass that attenuation resistor, and you get the full 100 mA that the transistor can provide in that mode. Now, technically, the one with the heatsink, they can go up to 1 watt, actually. That specific transistor. But you got to get the right one, because if they don't have the heatsink, there's 2 versions of that transistor is what I'm getting at. So let's see what else I have here. Oh, just a DC to DC, very low power, 0 to 10 volt, variable 10 mA. I figured if I needed to run an oscillator, I guess, or maybe I got a good deal on it. Oh my goodness. Leftovers of a plasma lamp. That was fun. Joel's quantum energy generator. Remember that one? Still kept the bulbs. Plasma can be a lot of fun because they can act as capacitors. And you add magnets around here, it brings the capacitance way up. Oh, geez, am I saying too much? Sorry about that. Got to get used to not just randomly saying things, right? Do I have time to pause that live statement and just pretend it never happened? I can't do that live. They don't give you a 10-second buffer, do they? You press the big red button. I made a mistake. No. I'll keep going. What else do I have here? Oh, time reference, real time. That's for stability on certain projects. A lot of Raspberry Pi modules. This I don't even know what it is. Parcel. I never opened. Comes from China. Isn't that something? Christmas came early. That's odd. Why would I not even open it up? It's Chinese parts. Oh my goodness, what's inside of here? I don't even know. I don't even know. Wow. I wonder what it's doing in the box of failed projects. What the? Looks like an antenna cable. This is interesting. Bear with me, I'm just trying to figure out what I got here. Package I never opened up. Oh my goodness. There's an... okay. There's a loop antenna. There's the... Yeah, this was going to be for like a dunce, but now I remember. Basically they call them magnetic loop antennas. What they call them. So I was going to do something with that. It's coming a bit in my mind there. I think I jumped on something else and literally forgot about it. That's interesting. Nice of them that they provided a nice real shielded cable. Very nice of them. My goodness, this is like Christmas going through this thing. You end up forgetting what you have. What do I have here? 38 kilohertz infrared receiver module. Ah, speaking of the devil. Center frequency range of up to... Frequency is low on this one though. Huh. Diodes, PCBs. Oh my goodness. Another package that I never opened. Oh my God. I gotta do this more often. Going then it motivates me for new ideas. You know what may have been a failed attempt a few years ago becomes inspiration for a new project. Maybe 2-3 years down the line, right? This says 36 watt universal. Oh, it's a power supply. That's probably why I never opened it. My goodness, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it? The box of failed projects. Oh, I got a perfect addition to it. Speaking of the box of failed projects. A joke from a video I made about a month ago, if any of you are paying attention. That's one thing in this domain, folks, not shy to say. There's more failures than success. You just don't see it all because I don't record them. But there's a lot of parts that blow up. There's a lot of stuff that goes in the garbage. And half project, half PCB boards that just go in the failed project box until whenever I might need them again, or who knows what. But over the years, my goodness, does it all accumulate. But I believe everything is recyclable, right? So I'm not a fan of throwing anything out. I dismantle it and use it for something else. So that's where I'm at with that. So let's going to see what everyone's saying here. Just reading everyone's comments. They're saying keep up the good work. People are joking a bit. People admitting they feel as well. It's not only me. That's good. That's good to know. But as I say, I speak about the failures, the ones that are relevant, but so people don't really screw up. But day-to-day failures, yeah. I mean, oh my goodness, how many times does one accidentally zap themselves? Sometimes even when I'm doing a presentation, and oops, how did that get there? Certainly wakes you up. That's why I really don't want to go too crazy with like high voltage, high current Don Smith and that sort of thing from this environment here. Very crowded, very tight spots, right? A wire you don't even see it and you rub yourself on it, and Don Smith like power, commercial power, it's enough to kill you. So I want to wait until I've got access to the lab, the commercial lab, to get into all of that stuff. And then go nuts with the high power and with the proper grounding and everything coming from the ceiling, and you're not going to twist and tangle yourself on the wires. And everything has its own ground, no loops, not going to go through me and the floor. High voltage could be really, really bad for that, by the way. It takes the insulative path if it happens to be the one of least resistance. They won't care. Won't care at all, right through the floor and your feet and everything. So you got to be careful. If it's zero current, no big deal. It's just a balloon shock, right? But just a few milliamps at high voltage could be enough to kill you. So yeah, don't want to kill myself either, as much as I'm passionate with all this stuff. So that's what I've told my team as well, my company. There's a lot more demonstrations I'd love to show you all, but it's just too dangerous from a little environment like this to work on. A Bedini wheel is one thing, with an old computer fan, but I'm not shooting sparks 10 feet into the air here either. So this is where we're at, and I'm probably going to end up going live tomorrow. I got into this rant, but what I was going to do today is got this little coil here, and I wanted to make an oscillator. If you guys have a good eye, I don't know if you can see that from here, but the torsion coils, you can buy them on Amazon. You don't even need to build them yourself these days. I looked, there's a bunch of them already built, different variations, because they're tough to build. But what I want to do is, without getting too far myself here, this is not like free energy or anything. This is just an oscillator I want to build for wireless power, wireless charger, essentially. And one personal issue I have building my own stuff, well, for this here is when I want to transmit like a few watts, simple transistors, especially with the, you can use protection diodes for the kickback, right? But the simple flyback, when you use a lot of watts, the components can't handle it. It's too basic without protection, right? So what do? You go and you add protection, but then what you use for protection then takes the load instead. It gets hot, right? So I've noticed that. Okay, put a diode, flyback diode. But if you're not capturing the flyback energy, the diode takes the shit beating. The diode gets hot, the diode loads up. So okay, my transistor survived, but my diode didn't. Or it got really, really, really hot, which means that I'm not doing myself a favor if I'm wasting all that energy in the protection diode when I want it to, propagate. So long story short, the simple circuit anyways gives me a hard time when I want to use it for like traditional, but that's why we have better traditional when it's an actual transmitter circuit, right? We don't use a single free running oscillator to transmit an intentional signal. It's even though technically it works, it's just there are obvious hurdles to doing it that way without all of the extra additional circuitry, which makes it more of a traditional RF transmitter and not just basically an audio oscillator. So I just had this idea, instead of giving myself a headache, I've got all these old analog audio amps here. So I wanted to use the audio amp as a flyback driver. Very simple, really. I would imagine you feed the audio on one winding, the output, maybe put a 6 ohm resistor in parallel with it so the amp doesn't freak out. Not sure if I even have to do that, but could. And the L2 winding over here, you could just put a capacitive plate on each side here, or I would do them on the sides, right? Go back into the input. I'm going to try anyway. It doesn't hurt to try it. It should do just like the equivalent of a single transistor, Joule thief. It should just go on its free running. And I might be able to refine the frequency too with an RCL circuit on here. But my point is, you can get, using an audio amp, it's already designed to drive rather low impedance. Like it expects a speaker, but it doesn't know the difference if you've got a coil or a speaker, right? If the impedance is relatively within range. So that's why I think there's an advantage there, and it's inherently designed to put high wattage at low impedance. So I'm thinking of using that as an experimental driver instead of always building little transistor oscillators that they're so basic they always go kaboom. And a lot of things I don't want to use expensive, frequency, for a generator for a project, right? For an experiment. But an audio amp, big deal, right? I can get those, like you can find them at the dump. People's old stereo analog receivers they don't want, right? Use that, perfect. Yeah, 50 watts a channel, left and right. Combine them, feed your monotone if you have to, and then you get 100 watts. Or you can get creative and start playing with the phases of the two channels in different windings. So I think there's an advantage of messing around with the old audio amps anyways. I think it eliminates a lot of headaches of trying to just do a quick experiment. You want to feed it. And that's what I mean. Most of these coils, especially the primary windings, they're relatively low impedance, especially the Bedini stuff. And AC, like traditional mains, it doesn't play nice with that low of an impedance at the input, right? So here's a way of, okay, if you need 60 hertz, use an audio amp, low impedance drive, shoot 100 watts, 1,000 watts if you need it, 1,000 watt amp brand, Chinese, eBay for $100. I'm not joking, car amps, 12 volt driven, 1,000 watts, feed a 60 hertz tone. They have Bluetooth connectivity. You connect to Bluetooth, any tone generator, pick your frequency. Oh my goodness, am I saying too much again? I get carried away. I really do. Gotta stop that. I really. Sometimes life sucks. About people stealing your shit and stabbing you in the back. It's in my nature, you know. I want to get right into it. I want to tell everyone what you can do with everything. Uh, It is what it is. Mhm. It is what it is. So I guess tomorrow, now it's getting late, but I'll probably go back and play with this and see where it goes, and go live again while I experiment with this. Because I mean, as if and it's an audio amp, folks. I mean, I don't see anything unconventional that shouldn't be shared, right? Just trying to make an oscillator. I mean, others have done it before. It's just I want to be more modernized with it. Actually, use it for driving special resonant coils. They did it with the magnetic resonant amplifier, but I don't want to experiment with the cores like they did. Don Smith was onto something there with the air cores. So I say, good to experiment with that. So, um, yeah, I guess I will say for me, anyways, it's getting later. It's 8:30 p.m. So a good evening for now, and I thank everyone for spending your time and your understanding where I'm at with the company and everything, and why I might have to not disappear there, but you know the reasons why I have to be a little bit more conservative moving forward for a while. And with that said, thank you all for your being around and your support over the years, and for your following and your interaction. And until next time, and again, thank you all, and have yourselves all a great evening.